Season 26 of Battlegrounds is upon us, and we're going to go over for Gladiator Circuit and Victory Track. What are some of the best champions you can use? Some things to consider, some options, and other stuff like that. And hello everybody, hope you're doing. Before going anywhere, I'm going to give a shout out to Misty K. Go and check out Misty K in the link in the description if you want to see somebody cover. So first of all, before we get the video underway, I want to give a shout out to Misty K. Some information we're going to use using some of the infographics that Misty K has done. Amazing infographics in general when it comes to Marvel Contest of Champions related things. And of course, if you want to commission any kind of artwork, Misty K can help you out. If you're an aspiring content creator and looking for someone to do your thumbnails, very much recommend Misty K. Misty K, of course, works with Vega 583 and Clowniest Clown, so you've probably seen some of those thumbnails in action. So first of all, when it comes to some of the best victory track options, let's start with that. Well, if you're looking at fight or flight, I don't think there's so much of an emphasis of a worry on it. Whether or not you're looking at it and going, okay, well, the champion is going to get unstoppable. Big whoop. You just got to keep your distance. However, the AI is never good and helpful to that particular regard. So you may want to look at champions that are unstoppable counters. There's of course the quintessential unstoppable counters from a just general shutdown perspective or slow debuff like your Red Guardians and the recently grit buff that Beta Ray build gets. There's also other types of elements to take down, which is the, I can't remember what its name is. Decelerate. I think it's the Decelerate debuff. Anyway, there's lots of things you can tap into in order to make it easier. Jubilee has got slow debuff. There's other ones. I think even you could rotate well. You could get a Storm Pyramid X in on this, but that's a very kind of if one. The other way that you could look to take down Unstoppable is to have a more nullification, stagger, and as well, you know, cap Infinity War and things takedown methods as part of their abilities and kit to shut down the you know, just like Unstoppable in general, or yeah, just taking it down. Like I personally like the stagger and the double stagger actually, Doctor Doom and Juggernaut if I was to, but I don't know if it's going to be as much of a frustration because a lot of people can just like bend around it and be like, oh, I'll just keep my distance and everything will be fine. However, that's not the case when it comes to Battlegrounds because you might want to keep your aggression high, your time low, and your takedown as quick as possible. So keeping aggressive might thrust you into champions that take down, suppress, or shut down. And that's going to be your options, isn't it? On the defensive line, I think that just general frustrating defenders can just be like a asset to you. Whether or not you're going with the usual Enchantress, the Red Skull, even Deathless Thanos if you have him as a rank 3, 7 star, that could be annoying. Nick Fury is always a kind of a new, not a new one, kind of a regular there. Sentinel, recently kind of there. Killmonger, massively recommend on myself. I use him. Guardian, Shocker, Mr. Sinister, Dust, Mojo, King Groot. Whether or not he's an offense or defense, he's always a fun option. Bullseye, the usual suspects, and of course Onslaught, your Destroyer, and Serpent. The usual offenders that always find themselves lurking in general frustrating options and defenders. Teenage. I know it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but no, Negasonic Teenage Warhead. There are loads of frustrating champions. Loads of them. It's just if you got the right counter for it, and at the same time, you're like, well, I don't need anything else because, yeah, just go with the frustrating ones. As we get into the Gladiator Circuit territory, there's the long distance relationship. Yes, there is Limber. There's for all of them Limber, but to be honest, a lot of people try not to do any parries, and it is a case of like intercepts for key time and other stuff like that. Long distance relationship is going to see you have a weakness debuff on you. This is where champions that have cleanse, have purify, and very much skill champion class orientated traits. These particular champions could be and not limited to the following: Atuma, Baron Zemo, Chilf, Black Cat, Killmonger, Mantis, Bullseye, and many others. Killmonger, Moleman on attack. Okay, so that's going to be some really kind of good options on attack. And this is going to be week 1 of the Gladiator circuit. And those could be like, I mean, the general kind of nukers are going to be good regardless. But you're going to have to act quickly because that long distance relationship is going to be just nibbling at the extent of how much damage you can do because you're being made weaker. Of course, go figure. And what about defensive options? Well, again, this is very straightforward. Just the normal frustrating defensive options are largely going to be your go-to ones, whether or not you're putting in like the likes of Gore, Baron Zemo himself, maybe Rintrah, Thing, I don't know, Thing, Havoc, providing they've not brought in a tech-based champion. And that's going to be really it. Like, you just put frustrating defenders in. There's no, thrills and spills here. It's just a case of, is the weakness debuff going to frustrate you? If it's going to frustrate you, of course, opt for a change. And with week 3 of Gladiator Circuit, again, a slight change in that, okay, Fury buff champions, Fury effect champions in defense are going to be annoying. So make sure to put some of those in defense. And of course, to counter that will be your buff suppression as well. So by buff suppressing, the enemy won't be able to gain access to the Fury effects. If it's passive, different story. If we're talking here like a Thing and Hulk and any other champion that gets more as a passive or like a passive effect, then you could be in a bit of trouble. That means they're going to get the unblockable, providing they get an unstoppable effect at the same time, which isn't going to be like easy to access. That's going to be a bit of a bone of contention. You do get, if you punish the defender special attack, you do get a grit passive, which naturally will allow you to counter a unstoppable, which is helpful. But if the champion gets unstoppable, and if they already have an unstoppable effect, then of course they go unblockable. We know that. So yes, preparation, understanding of this is gonna be important. It just is. Like, will overly annoying kind of general defensive options be frustrating and good to put in? Yes. Any champion that gets a Fury passive, yes, that's going to be annoying as well. So quick suppression, I don't know. I don't know if there's an overcomplication. Overly complicating this is just pointless because it is very straightforward. It's just when it comes to Gladiator Circuit, I think there's kind of idiosyncrasies to just point out and counter and exploit if there's any need for it. But yeah, I think a lot of people do a lot of work on week 1. Week 2 just looks like it's got like a bit of a cluster of just weirdness and frustration. And of course, just use the Deathless Champions if that's going to be your key to all of this. Because yeah, using Deathless Champions is going to benefit you immensely, but if you don't have them ranked up, then they're not going to be as potent enough, and each of them gets their own special little thing. Anyway, that's been the options. I'll put it in the link in the description if you do want to check it out. Anyway, that's been it. Have a lovely day, whatever you're doing, and see you soon.